Hi everyone, this is Crane, the host of the Amun Inside Crypto Podcast, a podcast where we look into crypto and bring it to everybody. You can find our podcast everywhere, Amazon, Apple, wherever you want to listen, you will find our podcast. As usual, we have our TLDR up first. We're going to talk about our SOLI token. We're going to talk about Solana's TVL. Then we're going to talk about some global economic news courtesy of Bloomberg. Then we go to all the news for today's stories. Stay tuned, it is going to be fast. So let's dive into a TLDR. One of the first things we're going to talk about today is Serum's API. So APIs are things that developers or programmers use to sort of access somebody else's data or system. Serum is one of the largest DEXs on Solana. And APIs are generally a good way that it allows other people to sort of build projects and do interesting things with what you're doing. Facebook has an API, Google has APIs that allow people to create some interesting products. I was listening to a podcast about this the other day, but that's totally off topic, but that's great. That's expanding Solana's ecosystem, expanding the possibilities of the projects that can use Solana. All right, the next thing we're going to talk about is strong beliefs, right? One of the things we know with crypto is the idea of decentralization is one of the core tenets of crypto. Marinade has always said that. Solana people have always said that. Yeah, you know what? We are pretty decentralized. We're trying not to give one single entity control over all the staked Solana. And you'll see that in today's story when you look at a vote that they recently had. Next, we're going to talk about xNFTs. xNFTs, very briefly, are like apps. They're like cross-chain NFTs. They're a bunch of things, but they're elevating the idea of NFTs, and that sort of expands what we could possibly do with them and what can be done with them. Because at the moment, it's very easy to see NFTs on OpenSea dominate the ecosystem. Right? Despite Solana having a lot more transactions in some months, when it comes down to value and the amount of money traded, right, OpenSea NFTs, Ethereum NFTs just dominate. Next to talk about is Gamefi, right? Everyone knows about Star Atlas, everyone knows about Illuvium, Sunflower Land, Avagachi on our Pico token, but making games on Web3 is not easy. Making games is not easy. So Orca has released a suite of tools. I have an interview later with somebody else who's trying to make Gamefi easy as well. I think if we get Gamefi easier, we might see some more unique and innovative ideas for crypto-based game. And the last thing we talk about again is concentrated liquidity. So if you missed our previous podcast, concentrated liquidity like Uniswap v3, like Algebra as well, Swap is using them, is the idea of setting your liquidity within range so that in this range, if you're doing yield farming, that this is the range that you are getting yield, right? And if the price of the things that you are yield farming on drops outside of a range, you stop yield farming and things happen. This is to protect the people who are providing liquidity. It's a really cool technology that a lot of people are leveraging at the moment. Anyway, that is our TLDR, and I'm still trying to get those in under 2 minutes. I apologize for that. Let's jump straight into our SOLI token for today. So for our SOLI token, Solana Ecosystem Index, we are $1.73 at the moment, down 1.87% in the last week. Checking compared to mSOL, right? SOLI is still better than mSOL. Let's check Serum. We're slightly underperforming Serum. Don't forget, right, if you are a SOLI token holder, you can come and check out your comparisons to see what is SOLI doing better at, what is SOLI doing worse at, right? And then make decisions about that. One thing also I want to mention as well is the rebalance is supposed to happen today at some point. So it is already 6 p.m. Taiwanese time. I would imagine the rebalance will happen at usually the next day. So it'll happen Tuesday morning when I wake up. It's already happened. So something for you guys to keep an eye out on. You can see the last rebalance is July 2nd. And that is strange that our rebalance history for August and September are not here for SOLI. I will bring that up. Anyway, it'll be there, but a rebalance for October should be happening sometime today. And that is it, guys. Let's talk about Solana's TVL. Really interesting thing today, right? Solana's TVL sitting at 1.3 billion, down 0.77%. Solend is dominant. Solend is number one at 217 million in TVL. Marinade's number 2 with 254 million. Then we had Raydium, Atrix, Lido, right? Solana Lido, Tulip Protocol, Mango, Serum, Orca, and then our number 10 is Quarry. Okay, lots of interesting things going on there. Interesting to see that Solend is doing so all right. 1 month change of 4.57%. Marinade 5.87%. Raydium and Atrix down like double digits. That's unfortunate. Okay, let's jump into our first piece of news. But before we get into that, we're going to have a look at something by the OECD. They're talking about the global economy. If you're watching this, it'll be on Tuesday, October 4th. You'll be seeing something about Credit Suisse and them being worried about defaulting and having another Lehman Brothers moment. So definitely have a look at this OECD video. It is a 6-minute video. You should definitely go to Bloomberg and watch the entire thing. We're just going to watch the beginning to give you guys an idea of how to look and think about the macro environment going forward. So watch the video. If you don't want to watch the video, skip ahead roughly 2.5 minutes and then jump into our first story, which is about Serum and Bloxroute.
You say in the report that due to those persistent inflationary pressures, central banks need to continue hiking interest rates. At the same time, supportive fiscal policy is needed to help cushion the blow of higher energy costs. What is the proper balance of that, given we are seeing today the impact of fiscal policy plans in the UK absolutely roiling assets across the board?
Well, good morning. Our forecast certainly is a challenging one because we are forecasting a significant slowdown of the economy to, say, the United States growing at 0.5% next year, the euro area growing 0.3%, and still a slowdown in China this year, next year recovering a little bit, but still, globally, we're talking about significant slowdown. We believe that right now the priority has to be, for sure, bringing inflation down. It's crucial because real incomes are going down quite significantly, and delaying adjustments would only mean that we're going to have problems down the line and probably even bigger adjustments to be made. So that's why we say very clearly that first of all, monetary policy should continue to tighten in the advanced economies. Also in the emerging markets, it's crucial that it's still early to undo the tightening that took place a bit earlier. So likely they'll have to continue to tighten a little bit. And together with this, it's crucial that fiscal policy works hand in hand with monetary policy so that fiscal support is targeted and temporary, but also without leading to a substantially further stimulus into the economy, because a lot of economies have high debt levels, and it's not prudent to do so.
Well, and of course, there still remains a big energy question hanging over both monetary and fiscal policymakers. How do you model out the uncertainty around energy in economies like Europe, and what kind of downside risk it could pose to growth and upside risk it could pose to inflation?
So it says Chicago, Illinois, United States. After several months of development and beta testing, Bloxroute is ready to release its first service for the Solana network, a SEX-like API for the Serum DEX called Serum API. So SEX is like Binance, it's like Coinbase, right? All sorts of wonderful things. The Serum API aims to solve 3 main points. Easy onboarding to Solana. Traders can easily stream the Serum order book and get notifications for new order book entries. No need to understand the Serum internal structures or how to build the order book yourself. Reduce the cost of entry. Traders can now use Serum API instead of running their own Solana node, which is an expensive infrastructure to deploy and manage. Performance, the Serum API is significantly faster than public RPC and local node deployment. In a few days, I'll post a performance comparison of the API versus the public RPC. What is included in the Serum API? Support for 100 plus markets, that is a lot. Streaming services, gRPC and WebSockets with everything a trader needs. Order books, trades, order status, etc. Execution services, build and submit Serum transactions fast and easily using the provided SDK. SDK, Python, TypeScript, and Go SDKs. This explains what is coming next. So you can have a look at this article, and as usual, the links for everything will be down in the show notes below. Let's move on to our second story, which is about Marinade. This is preventing the creation of permissioned closed gauges. I propose the following: the creation of permissioned or fully closed pools liquidity gauges. Permission being that having a list of addresses which are controlled by another entity, fully closed pools that do not accept liquidity or capital from other people. So again, why I wanted to point this story out, right, is again, this was voted for, against. The majority of the community voted yes. 50,000 votes just abstained, which is interesting, right? People always mention that Solana is centralized, but you can actually see through the vote by the Marinade community that they don't want things to be permissioned. They want things to be permissionless. They want anybody to control all the liquidity and the gauges and the stake to Solana. So that's really cool, right? That's good for them, good for Solana, right? Good that everything is decentralized and reduces the number of people controlling the protocol. The other thing, again, reminding people, right, we talk about 2 Marinade stories because in our SOLI token, we have Marinade stake Solana and we have MNDE, which is their governance token. So this is their weekly recap. Again, nice and easy to understand. Kamina Finance introduces mSOL USDH. I forgot what the H is again, but again, this is another stablecoin. Automated liquidity vault. Strike wallet integrates Marinade liquid staking. Again, another wallet trace. Lots of wallets these days, right? Everyone's trying to one up and create a better wallet solution. New proposal on the forum, accepting validated stake as collateral at Marinade. Okay. This talks about here. New mSOL USDH automated vault on Camino, right? Vault cap 250,000, right? So current APY is 67%. So this is sort of one of the things you guys will notice when it comes to vaults and automated strategies is now a lot of protocols are saying we want to be sustainable. So we're capping vaults at X amount, right? And then we're giving an APY, which is really cool. The USDH mSOL automated vault is now live and ready for action, and fees and triple dip rewards from Orca, and Orca MNDE, BB. Okay, that's lots of advantages right there. Again, there's lots of things to be mentioned here. You guys can have your own look. Let's jump on, and let me remind you guys, as usual, we are trying to keep this video under 20 minutes, right? So I believe this is our Raydium. So this is about Xhack. So it says Xhack is here. I discovered Xhack, the premier X-chain hackathon by Wormhole. Now Wormhole is the Solana solution for interconnectedness, bridging blockchains and stuff. It says win 250,000 in prizes and bounties. We're open on weekends. Networking events every Friday and Wednesday. Demo days every Friday. Calling all builders. Why I wanted to highlight this as well is because Raydium didn't have any other like really awesome news, but this is something really cool. If you're a small team, if you're just new, and again, you might be only programmers or some business people, this is a place you can go and meet people, and you can get a chance to get funded and earn some money, and you get to network and find people that you might need. And again, at this specific event, which is already finished, right? Because it is October 3rd that I'm recording this podcast, but we have some big people, right? Armani Ferranti from Backpack, we're going to talk about them just now. We have Brett Harrison from FTX, who's always at a lot of places. Eric Chen, who we have from INJR, we're going to interview him on the podcast at some point. So again, if you're a small team, there are loads of events, not just Xhack. A lot of ecosystems have events. You can go there, you can enjoy being around people who are interested in crypto, and you get to promote your protocol, build up your project, find resources, find advice, get mentorship. And let's move on to Solend. As we know already, so the big news for Solend being number 1 on Solana at the moment in terms of TVL. TVL is total value locked. So this is about Backpack, right? And I just mentioned it now. We're going to talk about this just now. It says Solend is excited to be a launch partner of xNFT Backpack built by OX Corral. Solend will be available as an xNFT when Backpack launches. So we've talked about this, and I actually should follow Corral as well since we're here, and Backpack. So we'll talk about what is an xNFT just now, but this is cool, right? Solend, again, expansion, doing new things in crypto is always awesome. I always say this all the time, but it is, right? It means it's growing despite the bear market, despite world economic uncertainty. Crypto companies are building, right? And it is October, 2 months until the end of the year, and we have to keep going. All right, now let's talk about this idea of what is an xNFT. So I'm going to explain it first, and then we'll go through some of the key points. So an xNFT is basically like an app. You can imagine it like the Apple iOS store, because I know most of you guys who listen to this podcast are iOS users according to our podcast analytics. So it's like an app store where you go, you launch your app store, and you have these NFTs, which are basically apps like Solend, like blah, blah. It's another way to sort of create this awesome, accessible interface that will allow regular people, right, like my mom, like some of my older cousins who are not into crypto, to say, okay, this is cool. I can touch this button on my touchscreen device, open up Solend, do some depositing, do some borrowing. I can access Amun, buy some tokens right there. This is cool. Okay, let's move on to this, which is Orca. All right, now our next story is about Gamefi. So Gamefi is, you guys have heard me talked about Sunflower Land. You've heard me talk about Avogotchi as well. There's Krabada as well. I was talking to our researcher Tom about this. So Gamefi is something that is very divisive, right? You guys know I have my own gaming podcast as well. And gamers hate crypto and gaming together. They hate NFTs. But Gamefi is still moving forward, right? People are still making things to make it easier and making SDKs and making ecosystems and making platforms in which you can build your crypto game. So it says, learn how top Web3 games kickstart their development with Orca, the most dev-friendly liquidity toolkit on Solana. Whether it's Axie Infinity bringing families out of poverty, staggering 2,000% year-on-year growth, or Meta's controversial rebrand, the signs are impossible to ignore. Web3 gaming is here. This is just an introduction. So what can we do with this Gamefi dev kit, right? Build a custom marketplace, enable players to buy, sell tokenized assets in game. My partner and I, we play a game Sunflowerland, and there's a necklace that allow our carrots to grow faster. We can just buy it on OpenSea. We're somebody who has farmed this, and they have done the work, and they get to earn some American dollars or whatever currency for doing the work, and we get to have this asset, which is cool. Bootstrap liquidity, create deep liquidity through Orca's concentrated liquidity pools, which can be up to 4,000x more capital efficient than a standard AMM. Earn with every trade, charge a sourcing fee to capture value from every purchase players make. Again, this is a way for Gamefi projects to earn money. Incentivize liquidity provision, encourage liquidity provision by offering token rewards using Orca's built-in liquidity mining program. That's really cool. Radically simple integration. Again, integrating this within your coding. Again, there's the code right there, right? That's easy. That's awesome. Fetching data from the Orca SDK index just takes a few lines of code. Nice. Orca's developer portal offers detailed docs for every step of the integration. Nice. Again, very easy. Expert developer advocates are available to debug the integration. So you have people who can help you on Orca. Again, there it says DA, developer advocate. Nice real world examples. This is really cool. Genopats, right? Genopats is pretty famous. Star Atlas engagement with liquidity mining. Step in, a soaring start, right? Lots of good examples when it comes to GameFi and play to earn or move to earn in Steppen's case. Orca is proud to be the liquidity toolkit of choice for an increasing number of Web3 games. Happy birthday. So if you are a Web3 gaming project, if you are somebody who's thinking about developing a Web3 game, you definitely might want to reach out to the people at Orca and say, hey, my name is John Doe, and I'm building a play-to-earn Unreal tournament. And can you help me? And I'm sure they'd be very helpful. Happy to help you. All right, let's talk about UXD. So UXD has some really cool options. So you guys know UXD is a stablecoin backed by a delta-neutral position and USDC, right? So they have a great option, again, with Camino Finance. Deposit both of these inside. You're getting 22.32% APY. Despite a bear market, you're still earning some good money, right? And again, this is another one of those vaults, right? Again, following the trend of today's episode, where the max capacity of the vault is $500,000, which means once the vault hits 500K, nobody else can deposit liquidity inside. And that means that APY is locked, right? Because it is a more sustainable measure for the way that they're offering interest. Okay, let's move on to Tulip. So again, hello farmers and friends. We're excited to be launching on xNFT backpack built by Oaks Carl. It is one of the cool things we've been building lately. Stay tuned for more. So we know what it is, right? It is an app interface for everyone to utilize. It's an OS, an app store, where you get to touch your apps with your finger if you're using a touch screen. I don't know why I'm saying this. And you get to access the app, right? Make it easy, onboarding people in an easy way. Very cool. And next thing we're going to talk about is Mango. One of the things I like about crypto as well is there are always lots of opportunities to learn. Here's Mango with a good example. It says dev call starting now in Discord, GG, Mango Markets. And with there, you can get to learn what Cellfi is. Cellfi is another concentrated liquidity product. You can go check them out on your own time, again, because we are running out of time when it comes to this podcast. MEV Camp, Miner Extract Value, Token Auction, Mega League, Hacking Interns. Definitely join Mango. They are really cool. They were on our recent SOLI Twitter Spaces. Go and listen to Waterquarks. He's one of the data scientists there. Let's move on to our last story, which is about Aldrin. Fellow renegades, Aldronauts, explorers, pioneers, and everyone. The week in review has just landed. So almost $9 million has been traded on their AMM this week. Cumulative trading volume, $1.8 billion. Nice. $276 million in REN staked. REN loyalties. Renegades are the core supporters of REN. This is another one of those things. We talked about this in our previous SOLI episode. on their sort of development roadmap. Buzz Wallet, get on the waitlist, become eligible for the whitelist. Don't be a Peter. I have no idea who Peter is. You guys might know who that is. These guys over at Buzz Wallet are really something else. We're really proud to incubate such a project at Aldrin. So how they incubated Buzz Wallet, that's really cool. And this is again the ecosystem thing I was talking about. Bug fixes for Aldrin. The best UX UI is always a priority. And this is it, right? Again, lots of cool updates going on at Aldrin. You guys should definitely check them out. Again, we had the CMO at Aldrin on our Twitter space. Joa, awesome guy, really smart, really interesting. If you missed our Twitter space, I would highly encourage you to check that. So guys, this is it. And again, reminding you, our rebalance will happen sometime today. So if you're watching this on a Tuesday, this rebalance has already happened, right? Because this will come out on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. And make sure you double check, go to tokens.amon.com to check out that rebalance. I'm doing a podcast with Chris Zhu today. He is the CEO of Mirror World. He's doing another sort of Gamefi thing we'll talk about later. So this week, Friday, we have our Vesto.io podcast. Next week will be Chris. And I believe the next week after that will be somebody from Congregate, which is another sort of gaming platform. But they're actually getting into NFTs, which is really cool. I hope everyone is doing well. As usual, come follow us on twitter.com/Aman. Come check out Telegram, Discord, have a conversation with me. I'm here 7 days a week, pretty much. I'm always checking Telegram and Discord for you guys. And hopefully talk to you guys later.